Sir, you are audible. Kindly.
Shall I start?
Yes, sir. You can start now. Yes.
Okay.
Kindly go ahead.
Dr. Professor P.P. Das, Parthapadam Das, it's a pleasure and privilege for me to invite this giant personality of the country in the matter of IT and digital library. Mr. Professor P.P. Das is the man behind this, and he is the creator and mentor. Professor P.P. Das, along with his colleague, Dr. P.P. Chakrabarti, they have made a remarkable growth. They have made a real digital library in the country through 3 years hard work. They and their team of IIT professionals, teachers, students, etc., made into a reality with the support of the MHR, Ministry of Human Resource Development. And Human Resource Development is very much pleased, headed by Sri R. Subramaniam ji. He was the pioneer to motivate these two gentlemen to create the need of digital library and create it in a way so that the poorest of the poor can access it. That's why it has become the most accessible knowledge center. It is a real knowledge center. And in India, we are going ahead for creating knowledge economy. And through these digital libraries, the knowledge economy can be practiced, and we can be one of the top leaders of the world. I remember I used to say, and which was appreciated by our Prime Minister himself, because Prime Minister attaches much importance to these type of libraries and digital library, these type of libraries, but especially with the digital network. And when I said to him that the poorest of the poor, if he has got a thirst for knowledge, and if he has got digital literacy skill, he can access the best universities, including Harvard University, and get certificate, diploma, degree, postgrad degree, life skill education, whatnot, and through which he can be the perfect man, so that his life will be of real quality, so that without going for any government jobs, he can start his own concern, his own industry or whatnot, small industry or micro enterprises or anything, so that he can derive pleasure and derive resources, and through which India can also be built. A productive India can also be built. And with the help of the Professor Das, because he is my inspiration. He is Professor Das and Mr. Chakravarti, especially Professor Das is my inspiration. He helped us. I, with Dr. Vignesh, went to Pune for the first time. Professor Das invited us, and that made us, in fact, really to peep into this wonderful world, and that made me to have digital libraries everywhere. In fact, our Prime Minister has in principle agreed to organize digital libraries in all the 2.07 lakhs panchayats of the country by 2025, when the country celebrates its 75th year of Republic. The libraries are established not by P.N. Panikkar Foundation. P.N. Panikkar Foundation is only a catalyst. We, with the people's action, with the support of everybody, including the support of the Government of India. Government of India will give us only umbrella support. Then only it will be a reality. Because Mr. Panikkar, P.N. Panikkar, during 50s, during 40s, he dreamt that there should not be any village in Kerala without a library. So PN Badikar Foundation is dreaming that there should not be any panchayat without digital library. By 2022, as per the McKinsey, the global IT leader, they say by 1922, 90% of the Indian villages will have rural connectivity, will have optical fiber connectivity. That means they can access internet anytime, anywhere. Like that, by 25, we can ensure that 100% of the population, the 130 crores of population can access digital, can access the internet. We focus on internet-enabled, what we called learning, and digital libraries. The creation of Professor Das and Professor Chakravarti is going to make a revolution in the country. In all villages, there will be a digital library managed by the people. It will be really, it will be of the people, by the people, and for the people. The concept of the digital library. And I'm learning from him because I'm getting good inspiration from the words of Dr. Professor Das. Because when he created, he never knew that it will grow like this, grow in a network of like this, and it will be acceptable to everybody. In this background, I'm inviting the president for me to invite Professor Das to this August webinar. Again, I'm inviting all the participants to be here and put all their doubts. You should take up an oath. You must take up an oath today that you will help. You will organize minimum 5 libraries in your panchayat, so that
Balagopal sir, your mic is mute. Balagopal sir, your mic is mute. Okay, so thank you, Balagopal sir. So may I now kindly introduce Professor Das. Professor Das is my boss. He is one of the finest bosses I have ever had, and I have been with him for almost 2 years. And in the last 2 years, the best part about him is he never asked for a report, right? And that shows the finest leadership. He trusts his employees, and he gives complete free hand for us to do what we feel good for this country. So that's one of the dynamic leadership that this program have. And I'm very privileged and fortunate to work with Professor Das. And just wanted to tell you, Professor Das has done his BTech, MTech, and PhD from IIT Kharagpur, and he joined IIT Kharagpur in the department of, as a faculty in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering in 1988. And in between, he took a sabbatical and he went into the industry, and he worked for Intera Systems as a senior director and headed its Kolkata center as well. And he came back to his alma mater in 2011 to the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. And ever since he came back, he has done amazing work. I think one of his finest work is he is actually in the process of digitizing Bharatanatyam dance. So how many of you have imagined, the other day we heard about reconstruction of digital temples, and here Professor Das with us, who is reconstructing Bharatanatyam dance in a simulated form. So that's one of his finest work. And he is wearing multiple hats. He is also heading the Rajendra Mishra School of Engineering Entrepreneurship, and he is also the joint principal investigator and another founding member of National Digital Library of India. I'm so privileged and honored to invite Professor Das to make his presentation. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Very good evening, everyone. Thanks to Mr. Balagopal ji. My pranam to you. since we started on the National Digital Library of India project in 2015, as early as 2016, I remember having met Balagopalji. I was doing a workshop in South, and he took the trouble of coming from Thiruvananthapuram and come and meet us. And that is how we got started with P.N. Panikkar Foundation. And we have done quite a bit of work collaboratively together, and we hope to do a lot more. And he's been my guide, my light in terms of going down to the last mile in the delivery of a library. I mean, certainly, I will talk about the National Digital Library of India today in depth. But certainly what I appreciate very significantly in terms of Balagopalji's initiatives and initiatives of P.N. Panikkar Foundation is they are actually taking the, all the effects of what we are doing to the last mile, to the people for whom we are actually targeting this. So I'm really proud to be, as an individual, also from National Digital Library of India, we are proud to be associated with P.N. Panikkar Foundation in this National Reading Month celebration. Thanks to you, Dr. Vignesh. You have been a excellent colleague. It's not true that I do not ask for a report from anyone in the project, but there are some who do better if I do not ask for a report, because then they always exceed my expectations. You are one of them. Thank you very much. Welcome to participants. I was just going through several chat messages that you have been very kind to keep putting. So I can see that there are a number of good number of students, librarians, teachers, and so on. So that makes my planning for the delivery a little bit more difficult, because certainly it means that it has to go at multiple levels, but I'll try to cater to all the levels of audience here. So this is Vignesh, I hope the slide as well as my audio is.
Yes, sir. Yes, it's fine, sir. You can go ahead.
So I'll continue. If there is any difficulty, just you sensitize me. So this is a National Digital Library of India, as I said, started off in 2015. It's a project of the Ministry of Human Resource Development. Some of you may have already attended the inaugural kind of session on NDLI by Dr. Vignesh earlier, which was on basic awareness. So the context of this library came from a national need, that India is a large country. India is a country where our demographics is very interesting. We have a very large population, which is very, very young. I think a section of that population is sitting connected to this lecture today. So this demographic dividend that we are about to become a nation having the largest number of young working population puts a specific challenge that how do we train them, how do we skill them, how do we educate them? And you must have seen several programs of the government targeted towards that. The basic approach of the MHRD in terms of this was to see, is our educational infrastructure for school and higher education appropriate to skill everybody, educate everybody who needs to be educated, and the education also needs to go for lifelong. And certain surveys in 2014 by MHRD and FICCI gave very astronomical numbers. It said that every month you need to set up 6 universities, 270 colleges. If you keep doing that for 20 years, then you will be able to educate everyone, which things which are not feasible. So digital becomes a digital learning, digital reading, digital knowledge, digital dissemination, online learning, all become very necessary requirement of our nation, of any other aspiring nation. So it needs to be anyone, available. The knowledge, the education must be available to anyone, anytime, anywhere, and that's what we are looking at. I would at the very beginning like to introduce to you the two basic motto or concept that we build ourselves with, which is, I'm sorry, something happened. The sharing got lost. One second, I'll get it back. This is always some of the challenges. I hope the sharing is back again.
Yes, sir. It's fine.
Sorry. So two basic principles that I would like to talk about at the very beginning, and specifically I want to address the students on the audience more, because you are the coming generation. You are who will actually carry all this material together. The basic principles of learning today is deeply based on openness and inclusiveness. We have to be open in every respect. And when you say we are being open, it's open source in software, in open access in terms of content. It is open knowledge, open education. Everything has to be open. I mean, knowledge should not have a boundary of, well, this is created by institution X, university X, and therefore only the students of university X can use it, university Y cannot use that. That's never a right approach with the knowledge. So openness is something which is a grand foundation on which the National Digital Library of India is based. And the other is it has to be inclusive. This is a national digital library. We are a nation together. So it has to include everyone, which means that it has to include students, learners at every level, at school, at college, at higher education, in profession. It has to include all subject areas, engineering, science, humanities, medical, law. It must include a variety of languages in which our education is given. As you all may be aware that we have 22 official languages in India in which we can get educated, at least the first 12 years. K-12, as we say, kindergarten to class 12, higher secondary, can be done in any one of the 12 languages plus English. So it has to be inclusive in all that respect. So with those basic vision, we started building up on the National Digital Library and on the platform on digital education. And just to give you this perspective, I will not go deep into this because I want to focus more on the students today. Today, it's not only the digital library, but also options are coming up that have come up so that you can learn online. That is, there are video lectures available online. There are online regular programs happening so that you can follow a course. And it is also possible that you can follow those online courses and enroll and do assignments, take online or offline examination and get certificates. And in some different cases of engineering studies right now, this will soon get expanded to others. If you have done such a certification, you can actually replace that grade that you have got into your regular transcript, into your regular college degree programs. So this is the kind of Swayam Prabha, these are different programs that the ministry are doing. So overall, that what I'm trying to say is National Digital Library of India is not an isolated entity in terms of just digital learning. It is a part of the integrated learning system, which is empowering learning for the nation as a whole. Okay, so this is that's one library for all of us, and these are the basic features. It's available on the web, it is available on your mobile, it is 24/7. You can browse, search any content, find out, and it covers all academic levels like school, college, all that I talked about, all disciplines different, and specifically focuses on school, career development, and so on. Of that, school is something which I will talk specifically more today. I'll spend about a later half of my presentation on I mean, how you can benefit as a school student or a teacher of a school, or as parents of kids who are going to school and so on. There are contents in multiple different forms that all of you know by now, that when we say it is digital, it does not only mean that it is scanned or digital PDF version of books. It means that, as well as it means several other things like videos, like lecture presentations, like audio instructions, like images, even simulation, even animation. You want to do virtual laboratory, you want to do an experiment. You can do a number of experiments on the net. And these are things which have actually come in very handy, very useful, particularly during this last couple of months, when we started getting severely impacted by this coronavirus, novel coronavirus, and we had to get confined to home, schools, colleges got closed. But all of these different forms of content from the digital library could help us, have been able to help several, lakhs of students continue their study. So I'll talk more about those in specific terms. So if you look at what type of contents we have, there are variety of contents on this site, which is basically from different institutions, schools, colleges. We will talk about specifically CBSE board examination and contents for that. You'll see what are the varied types of board level content that we have accumulated and presented for students. There are contents which are more research oriented, meant for higher grades of education and so on. And there are very other kinds of contents like manuscripts, like data sets. Many of you students may have already started hearing about things like artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science. You are getting to know that these are areas with great opportunity. I mean, these are areas in which you learn techniques to solve problems by using several past data about that problem. And this is called learning by example. So if I want to plan for how the traffic of a particular city be designed or redesigned to remove congestion, what I do, I use the traffic data of last 5 years, 10 years, the way the traffic has grown, the way the high time of traffic has happened, the way the, say the one-way rules have helped, and so on and so forth. I analyze them with lot of artificial intelligence and come up with good solutions of what can help improve the traffic situation. And this is what is being done in every domain. So you need data sets to be available in the library as a whole. So that is all that you get.
Sorry to intervene, sir. I think your mic is getting disturbed. So there is a sound that keeps coming. Yeah.
Okay, I'll make this closer. I think this should be better, right?
Yes. Now fine, sir.
I'll hold it. Actually, this is hanging, so it is swinging possible. Sure. So I'll hold it here. So these are some of the unique things about this library. This is just still on the overview side, that it has a single window through which you can do everything, and you can handle content of large number of Indian languages. You can use it in 10 different Indian languages. These are the languages in which you can already use it. Other language interfaces are also being done. So you can use it in Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Bengali, Odia, and Assamese, and more are coming, like Punjabi will get added very soon, and so on. And it can also support personalization. And this is something which, students, it may be little bit more to understand, but what we mean is, like, if you search something in Google, then if two of you search the same word in Google, you get the same result. But one of you may be in, say, class 10, another of you may be in higher college, and you are looking for magnetism, but your expectations are different. If you are in in class 10 or class 9, you are looking more for, board syllabus related experiments, board syllabus related, magnetic laws, lines of force and all that. Whereas if you are in post-graduation in college, while you look for magnetism, you want to know more about what is happening in terms of the research in magnetism. How does it interact with other forms of energy, convertibility of magnetic energy in terms of other forms of energy and so on. But when you do this search with magnetism on Google, you get the same results, no matter whoever is doing the search. But here in National Digital Library, we are trying to make search more and more personalized. So that based on what you have searched earlier, the result that the library gives you is more like what you need or more like what you usually keep looking at. So these are some of the special things that we have. Besides, these are some of the statistics about this. About 100,000 or 1 lakh documents typically gets downloaded every day from this library and so on. So you can see how huge it is. And it has about 4.8 crore different contents, of which about 3.5 crore, which is a huge number, 3.5 crore you can think of, are free and open. So not everything is open, but 3.5 crore are free and open. So if you find them, just go and grab, download, print, use it for your learning. So that's a big advantage we're talking. So this is how the library looks. This is the URL. If you go to the web, you do not need to, obviously you can click a shot on this, but you do not necessarily need to do that. You can go to Google and type in National Digital Library of India. You will get this link on the top. Otherwise, you can use it on mobile also, on Android or on iPhone. These are different language interfaces I talked of. So you choose your language. Currently, you can choose from one of those 10, and the whole instructions, everything in the interface changes according to that language. This is a little bit for the librarians in the audience. The general students may not relate to this part much. This is talking about how internally it works for the librarians. Certainly, this 4.8 crore content are not copied physically into the whole library repository. Rather, for each content, we have a design for the metadata, and that metadata has been harvested, has been copied into a big metadata store. And that design of the metadata has been done very carefully so that not only we can identify every content, but we know a lot about how that content can be useful for the learning purpose. This I'm particularly referring to the library scientists because they will appreciate, they deal with this all the time. So what we use is a mixture of multiple profiles of metadata standards, starting from Dublin Core to IEEE, LRMI to Shodhganga and so on. So I will not expand this much because students will get disconnected from this point. Okay, now this is something which is very important for everybody. Is basically to see what are the different ways in which you can access content. So this is just look at this right corner. You see a part of what you'll typically see when you search something out in NDL. So here it's showing that you tried to find something, you got this methodology of educational research, which came from Institute for Social and Economic Change. This is the author and so on. And then you see this icon, a green open lock, or in this case, you see an icon which is red closed lock. So these are the meaning. If you see a green open lock, then that content is for you. You can just come and grab it. This is open and free. You can download, do anything. If it is closed and red, that means this needs a separate authorization. That is, it is coming from some institution who will need that you can separately log into this content for their access. It could be subscribed, or there is something which carries a license like this, where the ministry centrally pays for contents which are otherwise priced. So if you go to those contents, there's a huge collection of very interesting books from World eBook Library. If you go to that, you'll have to pay. But if you choose that book while you are logged into NDLI, if you are registered as a user, which is free, registering to NDLI is free. If you register to NDLI, log in and use, try to access that World eBook Library content, you will get that free. So how do you get it free? Because ministry for the nation is making a license payment, and that's called a national license. So on some common sources, we have this kind of a national license available. Okay, so this is more or less showing, what is the count. So the green ones, about 20, I'm sorry, 275 lakh, which means, sorry, which is 2.75 crore contents are open. And there are about 78 lakh contents which are nationally licensed, so you can get them as free. So about 3.5 crore contents are open and freely available. Okay, now these are the different types of content availability subject-wise. This is more just for statistics purposes, but you can see that there is a whole lot of content available in technology area, in general works area, but even in languages, on social sciences, religion, and so on, variety of domains. This is the different types of resources you have, in the sense that the count of how many are books, how many are articles, how many are kind of technical reports, and so on. Let's go to more meaty stuff. So this is counts. Okay, so let me take a start off here, which is kind of, as I said, is a second part of my presentation. So we just saw that there's a general National Digital Library, free, available for everyone. Everyone can go and use it, and so on. So kind of starting from 2015 and on to up to early 2020. Over these 5 years, we built this up. But then suddenly COVID happened. So I wanted to specifically address that part, that how has COVID impacted, and how initiatives like National Digital Library of India and the initiative that P.N. Panikkar Foundation is taking through the Reading Month can significantly help fight back at these kind of constrained situations. So when COVID happened, then certainly what we got concerned with, well, with COVID, students can no more go to colleges, to schools, and so on. All schools were closed, all colleges. They have still been closed, almost practically. So how do they continue their learning? And they have a lot of students have varied kinds of examinations coming up. They need to keep preparing. They need to remain connected, and so on and so forth. So we created this, what you see here in this row, the orange row. We created this study at home. So in study at home, we took different groups of students and what they would need to keep studying while they're confined to home. So there is a school group, there is an engineering college student group, there's a science college student group, and so on. Then specifically what is CBSE examines, we'll come to that. So let's look at this specific one, the school group. So I'm focusing inside that, studying at home, on the school group. So in the school group, if you go in, you'll find that there are several, further links and references that are given. So as a school student, you will be able to make use of varied kinds of video lectures, varied kinds of books from your different boards. See, I mean, we have about books of about 20 boards integrated. So many of your, if you happen to be from one of those boards, CBSE, books published by NCERT, several of the state boards like West Bengal, like Assam, like Karnataka, like Maharashtra, then your board's books mostly would be available. There'll be associated board related material like question papers, model solutions, toppers paper, and so on. Then there is a special preparatory for joint entrance examination, because as we understand that at this level, besides the board examination, what is most critical for the students in general is certainly the preparation for different competitive examination, joint entrance being one of those. So, I mean, this is obviously it is huge. It is meant to be for almost everyone. Particularly, it's more focused in little bit on the high school and higher school side. So, I would say that it is more effective for 9 to 12 classes now compared to the primary side. But we are also adding a lot of things on the primary side. But so this is a school bucket we started creating. Now, if you look into it further, for example, we have I think this is the next one. So we have books which are all NCERT's all books in terms of their segmented chapters, details, everything are available in this level. So if you happen to refer to any NCERT book, just go there, look for NCERT as a source, and you'll get a whole list. You have a lot of collections from National Book Trust. Some of you may be familiar. They're really excellent collections. And as I was saying, that there are several school board books, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, and so on, which are available. These are the school boards who have been generous to offer these school board books to the National Digital Library of India. Then what we have put in is those were more like kind of board, centralized government related resources. What you have also put in are, there are a number of private resources which are free and philanthropic in nature. So there is some excellent site called Examfear who provide contents for CBSE, for NEET preparation and so on. Excellently prepared content. This one we are currently integrating, is still not there in the list, but it started coming, is a video collection under the name of Centum Academy. These are excellent, school videos prepared by a number of alumni of IITs who use their free time to build these videos for the high school levels. Then you have Exploratorium, you have TED Ed, is a whole set of animated videos and lectures and ideas of teachers. You have Khan Academy collection, which is an excellent collection, available free on different kinds of video lectures, small video lectures on different ideas of different classes, different subject areas, and so on. So all of these are available on the National Digital Library of India platform, and you can use them free. And how to go to them? You can go to the school. I mean, these are all school level exposure. So you go to school and you'll get this list. You'll get, even separately, you can search for it. You get, if you're interested in programming languages, you can get very interesting spoken tutorial on this language. These are tutorials which is spoken out. Some of the others, which if you look at, is these are more kind of specialized help collections. So today I decided to talk more on the school side because that's closest to direct digital reading, and I'm hoping to connect more with the students in the audience. So NSDL, National Science Digital Library, is a creation of a a very experienced group of teachers in the United States who have taught for 10, 15, 20 years in schools in the United States. And they created these contents, they used them in different of their classes and curated and came up with this excellent, beautifully prepared content on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So it's science and mathematics overlaps with the school partly. Some rest of it is at the college level. Physics classroom, excellent for different physics tutorials, simulations. STEM is again an IIT creation from an IIT alumni group. Excellent for if you're preparing for joint entrance, FET or simulation. I'll talk about NDLI Tutor also, which is NDLI's own specialized collection for the JEE, the joint entrance. I'll talk a little bit more on that. And there are several other school contents also which are very worth taking a look at. Many of them are at the high school level. Some are at lower classes, middle school, so like Pratham Story Weaver, and so on. So, I mean, just keep on exploring. You will be amazed as to the kind of content you can get free, easily, interesting, supportive, directly usable in your school curriculum or for your extended studies, for your recreational studies, for your preparations for different examinations and so on. The opportunities are just open. I would like to spend a little bit of time on this particular slide, which is on NDLI Tutor. NDLI Tutor is a concept that we created when we started working with this because we saw that there is a huge requirement for getting quality solutions and solution guidance for a lot of competitive examination that lakhs and lakhs of students take. And since for taking this examination, I mean, what do you need for taking this examination? You need to prepare. How do you prepare? This is just not enough to prepare in terms of your board syllabus so that you know.
Sir, sorry to intervene again. The same
Right.
same mic issue, sir.
Is it better now?
Yes, far better. Sir.
Hello?
Yeah, far
Yeah.
better.
I have to get a more sophisticated mic next time. Okay, so what happens is the students have to learn how to solve problems in the way they are asked in the competitive examination. They need the question papers of earlier years. They need solutions of those. They need several practice examples. So all of that, and that is what has led to a large, gamut of tutorial homes coming up, tutorial business coming up, the private business. I mean, they are doing good service. I'm not anyway criticizing them, but it is a fact that this is quite an expensive proposition for most students of the country. Most of the students who are competent, who has the talent, may not have the money to take this tutorial support. So NDLI Tutor is a limited attempt to provide some common tutorial support for every student free, given the focus of different competitive examination. And our initial focus has been on the joint entrance examination. So what we have done is for the last 5 years of main joint entrance, main question paper. And for 12 years of, last 12 years of joint entrance advanced question papers, physics, chemistry, mathematics, every question paper, every question has been solved. So this is what you get to see. You can see there's a particular question. So what you see on right is kind of a hierarchical presentation or a stitched presentation where you can start at the level of a particular, paper of a particular year and go into a particular subject, then into particular question, and then its details. And what you see here is what is interesting is it is just not the solution. It just not gives you the question and say this is the answer. A, B, C, D, C is the answer, or number 3 is the answer. Also, it does not stop at giving you just the solution that, okay, these are questions, so you solve, and after solving, you get what is the answer. So 3 happens to be the correct answer. So this is it. Obviously, these are given. So this is question is there, answer keys are there, primary solution is there. But what is important is it also illustrates what are the different techniques by which you can quickly eliminate options which are not correct in the answer. See, when you are taking a competitive examination, most of which are MCQ type, multiple choice questions, you have to pick the right one from the 4 options. So how do you pick the right one? One way of picking the right one is you actually solve the problem. You know the answer. So you pick the right one. Of course, if you do that, then nothing can be better than that. But if you have to work out and solve, so it basically becomes a choice between elimination and selection. So you can pick the right answer in 2 ways. One is by eliminating 3 wrong answers, or by choosing the correct answer. Or you can do something of a mix. Like, okay, you look at and you find, okay, 2 answers out of these, 2 options out of these are by some very quick logic, you can say that they can never be correct. So eliminate them. So as you eliminate them, now you have a simpler problem. Now you have to choose between 2 options, wherein you can try to take a positive approach of solving or take a negative approach of eliminating. So that kind of, tricks and techniques which these tutorial homes typically teach you through practice is what we are trying to bring in here in terms of this NDLI tutor creation. And along with that, we get related reference material that if you are not following the solution, you'll immediately find the link to where is the background material, where is the theory of that, what book to read, or which are not only book, the specific chapter or the specific topic of the book to read for solving this question. So we put pointers to that. Then we put pointers to similar problems so that you have solved this problem, which was from IIT JEE main online examination held on 11th April 2014 in physics, question number 1. This is what you have solved. And then you get a couple of similar questions to this so that you can practice and learn. So there's a whole idea of the NDLI tutor, which I think is getting very, very popular. And we are creating similar tutor for other examinations as well. So I'll change gear because I think slowly I'm getting close to the, exhausting my time. So I talked about a whole lot of, open school contents and services that you can make use of and really benefit in that process. Now I will just talk about something very specific that we decided to do for examination. So this will just give you an idea of the kind of special services the schools can get, and also what is to come. I'll end by the lecture by saying what is to expect in the next 3 to 6 months in this, and specifically with reference to the schools and students and teachers. So again, during this COVID time, we were trying to react. So first was to create collections for students to study in general so that they can keep continuing. The next challenge came in terms of, at that time, of course, situation subsequently became different because COVID is always creating surprise for us. But at a certain point of time in April and early May, the plan was that the CBSE examination, quite a part, some parts were done, some parts were not done. Whatever is not done in class 10 and 12 will be held from early July, possibly 1st of July and so on. So we wanted to create a specific collection for the class 10 and class 12 students preparing for the CBSE. And we did not want to limit ourselves only by the subjects for which examinations are to be done this year. Eventually, they did not happen in that way. But we wanted to make it for the whole class 10 and class 12 preparatory. So this is what you see if you actually look into the CBSE exam preparation collection, then you'll find there are 2 collections, one for class 10 and one is for class 12. And you can go through these collections by source or by content type or by subject. What it means is you could look at it by subject. You say, okay, I need content. I need to look at this specifically for mathematics. That is what is my need area. So you can go to mathematics and look at whatever there. Or you can look at, depending on what the different sources are providing. That is obviously several of these are being brought from several sources. I'll show some of the sources. And or you can look at what type of content. I mean, you will say, okay, I mean, you are coming from exam preparatory, so possible. I mean, we have kept all the books also, but maybe you can look at the books at times, but possibly you already have looked at the book. But you want to look at the last 5 years question papers. You want model solutions on those. You want, you want the board's instruction on how the marking will be done, so that you can get to know that if you are answering a question, how should you prepare your answer? You may want to have associated pointers to associated video lectures which help you understand that concept better. You may want to have access to free sites where you can take small practice tests on this. So these are all different content types on which you could do the search. So that is how we have collected a whole lot of things and we have put them together. For example, if you look at this is kind of, as you can very easily see, that these are kind of by the subject. So if you are interested in accountancy or biology or economics or geography, of course you can, if you are from CBSE class 10 or class 12, we would recognize that these are the subjects that are actually in the syllabus of class 10 or class 12 in CBSE. So we have put them together. We put certain common items right here and so on, languages and everything. So you can specifically go to that subject and look for more. Or, I mean, this is just showing it to you in greater depth. And you can get, I mean, you will get content from multiple sources, CBSE's own source, NCERT source. There are a number of official sites on CBSE contents. There are a number of Kendriya Vidyalayas and others, government organizations, Diksha Project and so on, who create content, variety of contents for helping you with the CBSE preparation. So we have collated all of that together. And we have also taken a number of collections, which are from different, private paid sources, but certain part of it is free. So we have taken that free part. So it gives a very comprehensive collection to prepare for your CBSE examination. As time passes, we will continue to have more support, and we expect that we'll soon have these kind of board preparatory support for ICSE and some of the state boards, which would help us in preparing this. So based on these, CBSE preparatory, we talked to the CBSE's director. I mean, I do not know if you are from a CBSE board, then you'll know how it works. So this person, he's Dr. Bishwajit Saha. He's a director of CBSE in the ministry. So who connects to all CBSE schools and all that. So we approached him. He liked that idea. He sent an information to all CBSE schools to make use of these contents. And then we did one webinar session. It was called Metamorphosis, Transforming School Education Digital. And we talked to several people. This is Dr. Saha. This is, as you can see, myself. This is Professor P.P. Chakravarti. If you remember Mr. Balagopalji at the beginning talking about the leader of this project. He's the leader of the project. I report to him. He's another colleague, Professor Bhaumi. And there are several, he's another colleague. And there are several very important college principals or educationists in this level who participated and who are helping us build more and more in terms of school education collection, in school services and so on. So it is not only, if you go there, you will get a lot, but it's not only things don't stop here. If you keep visiting, you will continue to get more and more contents coming in on a regular basis. So these are some of the other types of contents. There are a number of video lectures, particularly good for if you're preparing for NEET. This is very interesting. This is activity oriented learning. So we collected a whole lot of content which give you project ideas, things that you can do. So you can do that at home. You can do that in your school and learn through that. So this is a whole lot of ideas that lead you to doing projects or activities. Then, of course, quite a lot of things for engineering and college students. I mean, I didn't focus so much on the college students right here, but I mean, like in school, there is a whole lot of content available for engineering students at colleges. Certainly, there are I think nearly 100,000, nearly a lakh NPTEL engineering video lectures which are already collated and integrated into this library, and you can anytime come search and make use of it. I mean, does not matter which discipline of engineering you are enrolled with, or which discipline of science you are enrolled with, you will get some content to get started in terms of your studies, and so on. Moving on, I will not spend much time on this because again, I'm focusing more on school students, but just for others, the teachers, the librarians, the parents, we have also created a whole lot of collections which are focused on COVID-19 research. And this COVID-19 research, when I say it's not just research on the vaccine, on the cure, that's what we always keep talking about. But our focus is, that's something that the medical scientists will do. There are several such sites. But what our primary focus is, COVID-19 has created the need to do research in every other field, whether it is economics, whether it is video conferencing, whether it is education, like online education, whether it is transportation, whether it is supply chain management. So all different sorts of areas in which you need to do research, we are collating information for that. We're collating publications that have happened. After COVID has started, astounding number of publications in the last 6 months. Data sets on varied types of COVID-related activities, documents, journals, and so on. So this has been very well taken. This is one of the other very popular segments of our National Digital Library as of today, and which has come into focus because of this COVID reaction. And so talking about COVID and NDLI, this is so these are different segments. And in the COVID research resource repository, these are scholarly publications and these papers. So you have 6-7 different segments in which you get information in this. Finally, before I close, I would like to mention that while we started working on COVID, we started focusing so much on the students, on COVID-related research and so on. We did feel that, well, it's not that all the time, you have got confined to home. It's not all the time you are just, studying. But you need recreational stuff on the library also. So we started doing a featured collection, which has, a corner for the birth centenary. This is currently showcases Satyajit Ray, who is a very renowned filmmaker from Bengal. He won Oscar for his filmmaking lifetime achievement. His 100th year. Then every day there is something we put specially. We put a person of the week, someone important, know about him, topic and webinars and all that. So there are varied kinds of, it keeps on changing, varied kinds of featured collections. If you're kind of tired looking at your books and question papers and solutions, you can roam around, come somewhere here and get different recreational stuff easily available. Now, so that was primarily about what you can get as an individual. Before I close, I would like to address specifically the school teachers and maybe principals or school authorities, if some of them are there, is with the fact that NDLI also is supporting to build clubs to do various activities. We call them as NDLI Club. It is to take a knowledge source of NDLI to every citizen, organize them. And the clubs are a concept of a physical as well as virtual entity. I mean, in its total form, there will be the clubs can be a physical one. I mean, it's a club of activities. Suppose you are interested in terms of, say, electric vehicle. So you can have a club in your school which specifically discuss about electric vehicle, make models, do simulation experiments, collect different models from different places, does webinars on electric vehicle and so on. So all students who are interested meet together. So it could be something physical as that, or it could be a virtual club which does different kind of competitions, your webinars, your Olympiad and these kind of things. So club has a certain structure. So if you're interested, I mean, just get connected to Dr. Vignesh, who leads this club, or you can just post it to our website also. So there's a certain structure from a school how the club can be done, and there is a registration form available. The link is given here. So you will get a copy of this presentation. It will be available for everyone. So you can go and register there, and you can get started on the club activities. Certainly for getting into the club activities, you have to register yourself as a member of NDLI. That registration you can simply do on the site or on the mobile, and it is free. It does not charge you anything. It's all that you need is you need a valid email address. So it does an email verification of that email address, and then lets you use that. And as a member, you can now become a member of the club. So these are some of the activities, and if you form a club, then you will be filing a monthly activity report of what you have been doing. Just before COVID happened in the previous couple of quarters, we had been setting up multiple clubs physically and organizing these kind of activities, lecture series, quiz, story talk, go fish, drawing, and so on, variety of that, and those severe interest from amongst the students, and you can see some of those. These are all different club gatherings of NDLI. So this was a book review competition. So there were varied kinds of. There was a reading Olympiad. We have in Coimbatore district, we have a running trophy on the reading Olympiad and so on. Of course, with COVID, those physical activities currently is on hold, but we are continuing on the virtual club activities, and that is something which you can use at a school as well as college level. I mean, students can also take the initiative, but and I can already see in terms of the comments coming in, some people are filing in that we already have a club. So that's great. So this is roughly what, so what you're saying is there is a library, there are rich things happening, give us feedback, we will put more and more things that you need, particularly for school students, for college students. There's a lot to gain from here. And there are activities around this, which are in terms of the clubs that are being formed. And we would request everyone to be a part of that so that you can benefit more from this library. So, well, that's all that I had for now. I will hand it back to Dr. Vignesh to take it forward. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'll be happy to answer if there are queries immediately. Over to Dr. Vignesh.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for this amazing presentation. So you could have seen like at least 200 messages came in appreciating your presentation. So that's the power of your presence. So participants, if you have any specific questions, we can take 3 or 4 questions maximum. Kindly put it in the chat message one by one so that we can I can read it out, because every second I'm getting a message, so it would be too difficult for me to read out all of them. Okay. Okay, so I have a question, maybe a quick, I would request you to give a comment on. So there are a lot of schools or institutions may have their own content. how do they can join the NDLI? So if you could throw some light on it, that would be useful for the schools as well as some of the educational institutions.
We have, around at the club, we have we have started working on kind of what is called a 5 C's model. So you can connect, contribute, and so on, create. So, you can start using the content from NDL anytime. If you have content that you would like to contribute, then you will have to, tell us and connect to us. You can just start the dialogue being a club, or you can start the dialogue even independently just by sending a mail and let us know. We will send you some information formats to specify what kind of content you have, and certainly you will need to have the right copyright on those content. It must have been created by your teachers, students, and so on. Could be question papers, could be lecture notes, could be tutorials, could be models, could be videos, could be audio instructions, whatever. And so we will go through that. We will also have to categorize it according to the level for which it can be used, and the subject for which it can be used, the type of content, and so on. And then we'll be able to integrate that. So you approach us, we go through an interactive process to decide what all goes in and how. We sign up a small, we have a 1-pager content contribution form wherein you give us permission to use your content, because when you are trying to contribute to NDLI, naturally we are thankful, but at the same time content is yours. So unless you give us permission in writing, we cannot take that content and give it to others, because we don't take any content. We'll always give it to others. So that agreement needs to be signed up. This is very simple. We have just kept them very simple. Just all that you say is that you have the right, and you allow us to use it so that everyone else can benefit from that. So that's a broad structure in which you can make the contribution. We are kind of a thin and thin organization with not much of bureaucracy. So kind of anything you feel you can contribute, you can help, you want to do, just drop a mail and we will kind of get back and get it worked out. That's kind of the principle we go with.
Sure, sir. So there is a question from Mr. S. Raghuveer. What is the minimum age to register at NDLI?
You should be able to handle the interface. So you should be able to operate the browser or the phone. That's it. This is a knowledge portal. So as such, there is no age restriction in terms of content. We hope that all contents are viewable by everyone. To the best of our effort, we try to maintain that. So there is no restriction on age or anything else. All that is needed, you must be able to operate it. That's it. And then you're there. And so anyone is most welcome.
So next question, so in the meanwhile, if you could close the slide so that we can view your video fully. Stop sharing. Yes, sir. So next question is from Ms. Pragyan Baisha. Sir,
Okay.
can we think of a day when school children don't have to buy books?
That is kind of the vision of many of the government bodies and authorities, that we should get out of, at least to a good extent, at least one core book every subject should be available free for everyone. Now, this is something which NDLI cannot really decide, because see, we are not actually writing that book and giving to someone. So someone has a book, and if someone agrees to give that to you, we are just making the process of getting that book to you easier. Right. So there are several boards like NCERT. NCERT has made all its publications free. Any book that they publish, they do it now on digital form, and they allow you to use it directly. They have allowed us to take any new publications and carry it, link it to NDLI and let anyone use it. But I remember in one of the earlier visits, I think it was in 2018, Balagopal ji took me to the education ministry department in Kerala. And they did express the opinion that they're working towards that. And they would like to bring these kind of facilities to students. But, well, you know, finally a book has investment. Somebody has written it. And whoever is writing it has a livelihood also. So there has to be a model by which that person also gets compensated, whether the government pays for it or kind of you make some other model for having that payment. But certainly the vision is to work towards a model where at least one book in every subject, which discusses the whole subject, should be available to everyone free of any cost.
Yes, sir. So there is a question from Ms. Purnima Saxena. How the school libraries get connected in India? As it is done by InflibNet for college or university, can NDLI do it for schools?
Actually, InflibNet does not connect many of the college or university libraries. InflibNet is more on the other side. InflibNet rather allows dissemination to happen. I mean, InflibNet sources a whole lot of content which the institutional libraries use. It's not the other way around. I mean, NDLI is already doing that. NDLI already does that other way around. I mean, all this content you are seeing, there's a huge number, at least 180 to 200 of the sources are institutions, college and university institutions, who have allowed us to connect to them and use it. Now, from NDL, I mean, the point is, I mean, we would love to integrate to school libraries. We have no problem. But the difficulty is the school libraries will have to be equipped to have their content managed. Majority of schools are not at that level, or majority of schools are still not organizing to create the content. So that's one of the reasons that we are trying to organize all these club and connect activities, the 5 C's activities. So if you get into the loop, maybe you have contents which you can easily make available, and we can tell you how. I mean, it needs very little investment. I mean, even we provide you server space where you can create your library and share the contents with us. All that we need is you must have the content. Right? So, I mean, we don't distinguish between whether you are a school or a college or university. We say it's an academic institution. Any academic institution is acceptable to us if they have content which they want to put in terms of a digital library and want to share with NDLI so that everyone else. Our only condition are 2. You must own that content. You must have the rights, otherwise we cannot take it. That's against law. And the second is we must agree to give it to all. I mean, we are for inclusivity and openness. So if you give us something, we will give it to all. Right? So that's the basic.
So final last question. This question is from Dr. T. Senthil Kumar. So his question is, can NDLI club can be opened in higher education institution?
Yes.
And another one is it if they do NDLI club activities, will they get additional scores in any institutional ranking or NAC purpose?
It is a mixed situation right now. So AICTE, I mean, interestingly, AICTE currently has certain additional points if you integrate with NDLI. So you do get a direct benefit if you're an AICTE accredited institution. Others that do not have a direct point. In terms of schools, we are, I mean, as I showed, that was the first discussion we had with CBSE because that's the biggest board. So we are discussing if some incentives can be given so that the schools feel more motivated. But we felt even besides those accreditation points and so on, the sheer motivation of getting a better learning platform, more organized access to quality content, once known, should be a bigger motivation for the student, teachers, and the administrators of schools. So that's but as of now, officially, there is no separate incentive that I can talk of in terms of schools creating NDLI clubs. And clubs are possible in every institution.
Okay, sir. So thank you so much for this amazing session. So we have, I think we crossed around 380 participants during this hour. and all of them found it very interesting. For participants who wanted the presentation, our team will upload this presentation in the our project website. I'm just going to put the URL in the chat box, so you can download. Maybe by tomorrow, this presentation of Professor Das will be uploaded in our project website. I have just put the URL here, so kindly check it tomorrow evening. So you will be able to download Professor Das's presentation, and you can use it for your own internal purposes. And over to Balagopalji, if you have any specific questions, or you can share your views, and you can unmute your mic, Balagopal sir. Your mic is mute now, so kindly unmute yourself, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Vignesh, and thanks to the participants, everybody who asked questions. And my sincere thanks to Balagopalji, and all my respect, reference to P.A. Panikkar ji, who actually made all this initiative possible. Thank you very much. Yes, Balagopalji. You have to unmute, sir. You have to unmute, sir. We cannot hear you.
Oh, is it okay now?
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a wonderful speech. In fact, I was also learning, and I was amazed by the presentation. The presentations you have made is really, really interesting, and it is. I could learn a lot of things from your speech, and in fact, we will try to practice it in Kerala and other parts of the country. Thank you so much, sir. We will learn from you, and we will make your dreams into a reality. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Welcome.
Vignesh, good for anchoring this very important webinar.
Thank you, sir. So thank you once again, Professor Das and Balagopalji, for participating. So for the participants, I'm just going to put the feedback form URL in the chat box. So kindly click on this URL and submit your feedback form. In case if you have not registered for this webinar, first kindly do so. So I will share the registration form URL here, so that you can join. You have to first register yourself, and then you can submit the feedback form. So for people who have not registered for this webinar, kindly register yourself first and then submit the feedback form. Then you can download your certificate. And tomorrow we have a session on problems and prospects of online education by Sri M.A. Baby, who was the former education minister of at the government of Kerala. He is going to be there tomorrow. So you can also register for this webinar.